All right. Well, are we ready to start the show?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Oh, wait. Let me turn it up. God forbid, Daryl wouldn't want to, like, blast it.
What? Because he said he couldn't hear the music?
No, because I'll turn it up and just go, and it's like, it scares me in my earphones. Welcome to The Ugly Truth. This is episode 610.
Right?
So I'm going to be...
Sorry.
Very nice.
I was trying to warm up
The
my
sugar has kicked in.
hugger earlier. Yeah, I'm drinking a giant Coke.
Soda.
It's not even Coke Zero, which is what I usually
It's just
drink.
hardcore Coke.
I just went straight for the full-on
Straight
Coke today.
Coca-Cola.
Give it all to me.
Anyway, Daryl and I told you this last time you were here, not on the show, but we had to upgrade our camera system, our camera security system, because the old one we had was like 10 years old.
Right.
And the company said, we're not going to be able to update your software anymore. It doesn't exist. We're like, okay, fine. So Daryl, who's techie, he's like, we must upgrade. I'm like, all right.
Fine, do it.
So he was so excited to upgrade to 5 cameras.
Yeah.
So instead of just the one.
Well, you know me. I'm a huge fan of the camera.
Yes.
Because
And
I'm paranoid as F.
I am too, but we're still working out the kinks. First of all, there's no cameras in the house. I refuse to do
we don't
that.
have cameras
Who does
inside.
that?
I don't.
I would never.
The only time I'll say that we have a camera that's in the kitchen that faces the porch.
Oh, that's
because
different.
we couldn't find a place to attach it outside and have it connect to the Wi-Fi properly.
Got it.
So it's in the front window that faces the porch.
Oh, that's...
However, when we go on vacation, I will take that camera and I will turn it.
Absolutely.
So because my effing cats are mad, they're crazy.
Right.
So we're gone and there's like they put on their little party hats and their kazoos and they're jumping all over the counters. I mean, they're everywhere.
Isn't it?
And I'm like, you little shits. I mean, we're gone in like 10 minutes and they're like, yahoo!
I've heard that putting foil on countertops works.
Could.
You should try it and see what happens. Anyways, so he's installed them. We have a camera on either side of the house. We have a camera and a doorbell camera.
On the front.
And we have one in front of the garage door, which is the one I really wanted.
Right.
So we also have an extra one. And that's the one we're going to put up in the backyard when we go on vacation so we can watch the dogs and make sure everything's fine with them and nobody gets stuck somewhere.
Right.
Well,
backyards are good places for thieves. They like to hop in the backyard.
Our dogs are idiots and they could, decide to escape or something. Anyway, so I would say it was a couple of weeks ago, there was a skunk encounter in the backyard.
Again.
The skunk got away and Bodega was sad about it. Because he's getting old. He's almost 14. He's an old dog.
Didn't it go behind a shed?
It went behind the shed.
Hard to get to that.
And Bodega can't get back there well, so it escaped. But it sprayed everything. And I said, we need to find out how this skunk is getting in because we have made this backyard a fortress. He goes, we have the extra camera. We can put it behind the shed and we can watch. And the next
National
day,
Geographic.
We can watch the next day and see what happens. I'm like, okay, good idea. So we did it.
Oh, God.
And the next morning we wake up to 2 large river rats are using our backyard as a freeway.
On the camera?
Yes, and we're seeing them. One actually got up on a perch and stared into the camera.
Ew.
And I was like, I woke up and I said, no. I'm like, we have to get rid of these. And he goes, immediately. So
I know they're huge too.
Stephanie, they're so horrible.
They are.
They're the worst.
We used to live on the river, remember?
I know. And they get big.
They're awful.
Now, these weren't like 2 feet long, scary looking ones.
I've seen
But
those.
there was one that was really big and one that was kind of smaller.
Yeah.
And I said, my concern is that because they run under the shed and then they stay there and then they come out for but it's literally every 45 minutes to an hour they're running back and forth.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I don't know where they're going or what they're doing.
They're getting food.
But I'm over it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want them in my yard. And of course, I've had the discussion with many people, like, just get pest control. I'm like, we live next to the river.
Yeah.
We live next to an easement.
It won't matter.
They're everywhere. There's not, and they're constantly doing construction.
So
they
running,
are getting driven out.
Right.
It's just, I've lived in this neighborhood for 10 years.
Yeah.
Never once have I seen a pest control truck.
Nobody does it.
No, but it's a waste of money.
Right.
You just have to figure it out on
True.
your own.
I don't live on an easement, but I do. My house, I back up to a green belt and a stream.
Yes.
So
same.
It's equally as terrible. But we did get one once, and they did put rat traps our backyard is huge. It's a quarter acre.
Yes.
And it did solve the problem of them coming into the garage.
Well, that's what you need.
I just didn't want them in my home.
Right. So Daryl's like, well, so we got rat traps.
Right.
And these are humane rat traps.
Yeah, ours are too.
Because, immediately my daughter's like, Mom, you're not getting the glue ones.
I would never do that.
You're not going to electrocute them, are you? I'm like,
fuck no. What?
They're these boxes, and they go into the box to get the bait, and the bottom is battery-operated electricity.
Oh, God.
And it electrocutes them and kills them.
Oh, God. Horrible.
Horrifying. And what if it doesn't work?
Oh, God. No,
I can't. I mean, I don't like them, but I don't
no.
Nothing's suffering.
I don't want anything tortured or suffering.
No suffering.
I don't care what it is.
So we put them out, and we're watching TV.
I almost sent you, I'm sorry.
Tell me.
I almost sent you a TikTok this morning of a guy that's invented the tiniest pair of lips to kiss bugs.
Get the
It's like, this is how I kiss it. He holds it in his hand.
Oh, I would say he doesn't put it in his mouth.
No. He holds it in his hand, but
that seems inappropriate.
It's got a long stick, and at the end are these little tiny lips, and he kisses worms.
Send it to me immediately. Send it to me immediately.
I was like, oh my God.
And then I'll share it with the friends.
I was like, I don't know if I love this or I hate this.
Send it.
It was cute. Okay. I thought you would appreciate it. Like, if anyone would like this, it would be my sister.
Immediately. I've seen people who love snakes, and they have snakes as pets, and they put top hats and arms on them.
Okay, but
it's hilarious, but I would never.
I'm not owning one.
God.
In fact, I think owning snakes is cruel. We've talked about that
many times. I don't think reptiles belong with people.
Me either.
So we're sitting there watching a new stand-up special on Netflix, Burt Kreischer. If you haven't seen it, it's very funny. Razzle dazzle. And all of a sudden, Daryl, and he's obsessed with the camera now, as am I. So he looks at it, he goes, oh, we got it. I'm like, what? It had been 5 minutes.
Oh my God, it immediately.
5 minutes.
What kind of food was on there?
It's a bait that comes with the rat trap.
Okay.
So he's like, okay, you know what? We're going to finish watching this, and I'm going to go out and clean it up. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Was it dead?
He said he saw it happen. He goes, do you want to see the video of it being killed? I'm like, I don't.
No.
And he's like, okay. He goes, it's dramatic. And I'm like, I don't want to see it. He goes, it was like insta-kill.
Okay,
I'm like, okay, good.
That's fine.
Right?
I don't need to see it, but I'm glad it was not.
So then
it didn't wiggle around for 10 minutes.
We were watching the show, and then the camera keeps going off. And he's like, what's going on? And so he looks, he's like, fucking our dog heard it.
And was trying to get to it.
And wanted to get to it. She literally ate the gate to get to it. Like, she ate through the wooden gate that was there with her jaws to get to this thing. So he goes out there, and the trap is empty on her bed.
Ew!
And then he's like, he turns as if the dog, who's a husky, is going to say anything of use. He goes, where's the rat, Sasha?
She's like,
no, this thing.
Oh, they don't eat it?
No.
They just want it.
They want to kill it.
Well, it's already dead.
Except it wasn't.
Jamie, you said it was dead.
I thought it was. And
Daryl, you liar.
So then the camera keeps going off, and the thing's going, because it's like pissed.
God, well, it can't get away. It's probably got a broken back, right?
Or neck, because its head was in the trap.
Fuck.
So, but the trap is empty.
How did she get it out?
We don't think she.
Oh, it got away?
We don't think she did. We think it pulled itself out. It was huge. So we can't. So it's 10:30 at night. We can't find it. Daryl is furious.
I'm surprised the dogs couldn't find it.
Well, this is what we think happened. So I'm out on the top deck spotlighting the backyard looking for the body because we know it's dead.
Somewhere.
We can't hear it, and there's no way that thing is like
it's not like it could really get away.
It's dead now. Yeah. We know it's dead because Sasha probably killed it.
Probably.
So
stomped it to death.
Well, they break their necks. That's what they do. They're really good, and she's very good at it.
Put me out of my.
It's over, dead, and she probably killed it before it even got anywhere. So anyway. Baxter, my cat, comes out on the upstairs deck with me while I'm looking around, and Baxter's doing that thing that cats do. They go,
oh yeah, when they're on
and their little jaws are, and I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, get out! And then I freaked out, thinking, is it up here,
right
on the deck? So I run into the house. I'm so freaked out that the hair on my arms are standing up because I can't with the pestilence. I can't with the vermin, the pestilence, the plaguing, none of it.
I can't either. And the only other thing second to that is spiders.
Spiders are just as bad.
They'll literally be the death of me.
Sometimes I'll freak out on the toilet at night going, what if there's a spider in here? And I just hurry up and pee and run out.
I imagine Black Widows racing across the floor in the middle of the night.
We've watched too many movies.
I hate it.
It's horrifying. And so I come inside. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm going to pretend that I don't know what's happening anymore. I'm going to live in denial. I'm done.
Yeah, Daryl's just going to have to deal with it.
Not to mention, I am ill. I'm very sick. And I'm like,
have no business running around. Yeah.
So next morning, he comes and there was no more activity on the rat cam.
Daryl always has to give you the floor when he's like, well, I have the report.
You know, every morning when something bad happens, he's staring at me. I'm like, what? every time there's something. And it all started when Anthony Bourdain killed himself.
Oh, God.
I was laying in bed. I wake up, and this was many years ago. I wake up and I look at him. He's staring at me. I go, what? He goes, Anthony Bourdain killed himself. And I'm like, I'm not even
Good morning.
I am not even awake. And I'm like, oh my God. Okay. So since then.
That was tragic.
It was horrible. But since then, now when he's staring at me with his big buggy eyes.
Who's dead?
Like,
what happened?
And I'm like, what is it? Are we bankrupt? Did you get fired? What's happening now? So he goes, I found the rat. And I'm like, where was it? He goes, it was by the shed on the front, like in the walkway.
It was trying to go back to its place.
No, it was clearly had been dropped.
Oh.
When Sasha kills a rat, she leaves it in this area, and that's where it was.
Oh, okay.
And he goes, it was along the fence line. I go, Baxter saw it.
Yeah.
And that's why he was yeah. And he was ready to leap off the fence. And I'm like,
God.
no, or the deck. So I said, was it like what killed it? He goes, well, I don't know, but it was dead. Yeah. You know, it clearly had been killed. And I'm like, okay, good. So it was done. So now we have one more.
Right. And you still have not
Daryl
this one yet?
We have tried. There are 4 traps set up in our yard along the perimeter because they're using the perimeter. There's only one left though. None others have shown.
You haven't seen any else.
This
on the camera.
rat is mocking us. It is mocking us. No, it's just not. Like if it's little.
Is the camera still there?
Yes. So if the little paws could give us the finger, it'd be like.
It reminds me of
so furious. It's
of the gopher in
it is
Caddyshack.
It literally is that, Stephanie.
I'm all right.
If it could dance with its little fat body, it would. It would.
Yeah.
So last night, Daryl goes, that, and I keep telling him, because, you know, God forbid, I don't know what I'm talking about, apparently. I'm like, put the trap under the shed. That's where it's hiding for a couple of hours. Then it runs back and forth. There's no nest under there. There's no, because I told him, I said,
it's just a safe space.
These things have to be killed because they will have children under there.
Oh, yes.
And I don't want that.
Or somewhere close by.
Yeah, I don't
think it's a place to get
That's the safest
food.
place. In fact, when we first got that camera, I said, put it under the shed because I want to know if there's any rat nests in there. Because if there is, we're ripping this thing apart and getting rid of all of it immediately. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Nothing. Not even a remnant of a nest.
Well, I don't think your animals. Yeah.
No.
It's a brave soul to come into that yard. That's why they're going under the yard or the shed.
And they just hang out there for like an hour and then they take off. They're not there during the day. Because Sasha would never let it happen.
Well, they're nocturnal anyway.
Yeah. No shit. So anyway, the problem is that Sasha is missing this rat by seconds.
And she's getting pissed.
So every morning there was one night where she was over by that shed every 20 minutes. The dog slept all day the next day. She was exhausted.
She's like being on the hunt.
She wants this rat so bad. Yeah. And so I'm like, well, and so yes. So today, even to this day, we're still dealing with it.
Well, it won't have much longer to go. Somebody will get it.
I'm really hopeful. Every morning I come out, I'm like, Sasha, what's up? Get the fucking rat, man.
She'll get it. She's like, oh, you think
and
I'm
she's
not
like,
trying?
She's like, oh, roo, 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 roo. And I'm like, ugh. I do love it, but I'm enough with it.
I'm a hound dog.
Do you remember when I told you that I got a really bad splinter in my pinky and I thought I was going to have to go to a surgeon?
Yes.
Well, I performed successfully surgery on myself.
Shut up.
I did. I got my X-Acto knife, my bobby pin, my safety pin, my splint, my tweezers, everything.
God.
And I successfully eradicated. I was so relieved. Look at my finger almost looks normal now.
Well, was it not normal before?
It was deformed.
Oh, I didn't notice.
So what happened was I was looking, I'm like, what is that brown spot on my pinky? And so I just took an X-Acto knife and I just sliced it open.
Ow.
And I was messing with it. And so a little bit of, liquid was coming out because a blister had formed.
Right. Well, anything foreign in your body will try to fester.
Exactly. So I was pushing on it. And Stephanie, that splinter came out like, when those the turkey.
Yeah. The thermometer they put in the
when
turkeys.
They tell you it's done and it pops out.
Yeah.
It popped out like that. It completely just popped out of my finger.
God, what a relief.
Stephanie, it was a half an inch long.
Oh, God.
It was huge.
Are you serious?
Dead serious. So then I put it in a napkin and I'm like, well, I don't know if anyone else is going to be, if anyone else will find this interesting.
No.
So I went into Daryl.
Daryl, maybe.
And I said, hey, I performed surgery. And he always just gets so like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, I know. Same.
And he goes, I performed surgery on myself. He's like, what? And I said, I got it. He goes, the pinky thing? And I go, yeah. I go, do you want to see it? He's like, you know what? I do. So I open up the napkin. He goes, holy shit.
I know, right?
I go, look at this thing. It even had a barb. Like,
no wonder. Oh.
And I said, I'm so moved. I go, because I was going to have finger surgery.
Oh, no, now you don't.
I was determined, Stephanie.
Yeah, anything that's below the surface of my skin, I'm getting it.
It's my responsibility.
Oh, my God. Well, I mean,
the satisfaction.
I was about to say.
It was orgasmic.
The pure satisfaction.
It was mentally orgasmic.
Oh, God, what a relief. Now I never have to think about this pinky again.
And it doesn't hurt anymore. And
I don't have to go to the doctor. I don't have to have anxiety about it.
And I also just love the feeling of the removal.
I know, right?
The process was exciting.
I mean, I
literally got it. And I was like, this X-Acto knife is like my friend.
Oh, my God. X-Acto knives. You just have to be careful with X-Acto knives because you don't want to scar for your face, obviously.
I have never used
some people who like
X-Acto
knives on your face. What are you talking about? I'm like, well, if it was the proper tool for the job, I would do it.
I would.
But I'm very careful about that now because I'm like, I could really scar myself and I don't want to do that.
You could hit the jugular. You don't want to kill yourself.
Well, I'm not going to do it on my throat, but I was at work the other day and we are back in outbreak status at work for COVID. And so
shit.
I know, it's stupid. So we have to wear masks again, and masks are not your friend when you wear makeup. And I do. And so I have been dealing with breakouts all week for the last 2 weeks. Well, I'm sitting in a meeting.
They call it maskne.
God, I hate it. So I left my office and I had a meeting off site, which was at a place where I didn't have to wear a mask. So I'm sitting there and I'm doing my meeting and I feel something growing on my cheek. I can feel it. You know, it's starting to throb. I can feel it. I can see it out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, it's getting swollen. I'm like, it's going to be a huge zit. But I'm thinking, because it's developing so quickly, it's just going to be that red bump. And by tonight, when I go to bed, when I wake up in the morning, I'll be ready to pop it.
It'll be white and you can pop it.
Yeah. But right now, it's not at that point yet, right? Because it's just too new. Because it's been like an hour. So my finger just wants to keep going to it, you know, like during the meeting. And I'm like, if you keep touching it, everyone's going to be like, what is she touching on her face? Oh my God, she's got a huge bump. So I'm trying not to. Yeah.
Vicious cycle.
I'm ignoring it. The meeting's over. I could not get to the bathroom fast enough.
Because that's all you're thinking about.
I could not stop. And it was huge at that point. And now I could feel it and it like hurt. So I go in there and I look at it and it was like a white bulbous. It was like when you see somebody and they have those white zits all over and they don't pop them. And do you know people who literally just leave those and they're like, let them go away? I do. Not personally. Oh my God. But you know, you've never seen someone in public who doesn't pop their zits.
When I see someone with a white bubble on their face, I'm like, how do you go through
Because
life?
They're like, well, you can't pop them, they'll scar. I'm like, oh no, you fucking pop them.
First of all, you already have some situations going on your face. Who gives a fuck if you have a scar at this point in your life?
No. And I would rather have a bigger pore than have that thing on my face for a week.
1,000,000 times over. I would choose textured skin over a bubble of pus on my face.
As someone who's a lifelong zit popper, I don't have any zit. I might have some, but I really don't have any that are like, oh my God, what have you done? You know?
First of all, the
guy that plays the head gang guy on the Scorpions in Greece.
Yes.
I do not have his face.
No.
Pock face.
No pocks.
No. Now, I don't know how you get that, but...
well, I had
severe acne.
I had cystic acne in high school.
But you don't have a pock face.
Anymore. I
never did.
Bad scarring.
I don't remember that.
No, I did. I still do. But
you can't see it.
Well, that's because of skincare products.
Oh, okay.
We'll get rid of that shit. Retinol gets rid of that shit quickly.
Oh, lovely. So anyway, I went in the bathroom, this public restroom of this office building, and I
have used an earring.
I used my fingers.
Oh,
it was that big. It was ready.
Did it feel
right
good?
Like a cherry on a tree.
Was it?
I mean, I was like, yes. It actually squirted on the mirror, and I was so grateful no one was in there.
Did you get the root?
Oh God, yes.
Thank God.
It was like bam. I mean, it was like it made that noise and everything.
I have to tell you, this might be.
It bled. And I was like, oh, fantastic. Now I have to walk out here.
Just get a toilet paper.
I did, but I was in the bathroom for a long time. They're probably telling me, is she taking a crap in there? Because most girls pee and they're in and out. No. I'm popping this giant thing on my cheek.
You could have just put a mask on.
No. I couldn't leave it.
When
I saw it, my eyes were like,
No, I mean after you popped it.
Right.
I would have said, no, I decided. Although the worst part would have been if blood got on the mask.
It's my mask and it's black.
Oh, well then
I always wear a black mask.
Yeah, you could have covered it. No,
people who wear white masks or light color masks, I'm like, what are you doing?
What is wrong with you?
Like, it's going to show everything.
That's disgusting. You're going to tell if you're a smoker.
You have dirty fingers.
Yeah. No, have to say that popping blemishes or this pinky thing, it is like
something wrong with
it's
this.
Euphoric.
I don't know what's wrong with it. Paula has it bad.
Well, I mean, who among us hasn't sat in the sink?
I've done it. But as I've gotten older, I'm like, you really are scarring your skin. You really should just do it as needed and not just for pure joy.
Silver lining of getting older is I tend to not have those situations happen as often as I used to.
Yeah.
So when I get a bit nostalgic when I get one finally, and I'm like, this is really exciting. I get to finally do something that I haven't been able to do in a really long time.
Oh my God.
Who among us again haven't been caught in the bathroom sitting on the sink
so many times,
looking in the mirror? And Joe's like, what are you doing?
With
I'm
a
like,
pick kit.
And I'm like,
needles, tweezers,
I've got a kit.
alcohol swabs.
Who doesn't have the kit?
I Joe's like, what are you doing? I have something readily available at all times. I have also used an earring.
I just get very excited and I hate myself, but I don't. I'm like, you know what? This is one of those things where it's like, it's a personal, just euphoric, wonderful thing. Yeah. I mean, it's like if you could bottle that feeling, I would take it every day. I wouldn't need alcohol. I wouldn't need drugs. I mean, I would just no more.
Like my son who loves the smell of his own farts. He's just so excited when he has one.
That's a boy thing. I don't get it.
So disgusting.
Boys are sickening.
He's like, well, I don't like the smell of other people's, just my own.
Boys are gross.
What is wrong with you?
They're just so gross. They're all about butt stuff. They're all about butts.
They're in sex ed right now. So he told me, I said, Jeff, how was your first day of sex ed? He begged me to sign him to say he didn't have to go.
Oh, stop living in denial, child.
He was like, I don't want to go. You can't make me. If they start talking about it, I'm running out of the room. And I'm like, okay. So he forgot about it because they sent the permission slip home like 2 weeks before they did it. So I didn't remind him that it was starting that day. And so of course he had no choice because now he's on the spot. And what's he going to do?
Run out like a baby?
No. So he didn't. So that afternoon when I came home from work, I was like, so how was your first day of sex ed and everything? And he looked at me and he kind of smirked and everything. I was like, it was funny, right? He's like, yeah, it was funny. I go, they always make it funny because it's kind of embarrassing. I go, do they
separate the kids?
No, I thought they don't do that anymore.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. Well, you know what? First of all, I think it's important for boys to know how women have periods.
I agree.
Or girls or whatever.
We have grown in that regard.
It's very important. In fact, yes. I would say
it's more important.
It's more important for... that is more important, but I would say it's more embarrassing for girls to learn about penises.
I agree.
I think.
Well, yeah, they're completely foreign to us. And maybe our parents shelter the shit out of you. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. No parent wants their young daughter to have a penis anywhere near them, including the word in their mouth. Like, we just don't want...
You definitely don't want to think about sex with your small children.
You don't.
But they have to know.
Elizabeth Smart, who was the little girl who was kidnapped at 13 for 9 months and raped and was eventually reunited with her family, she is a professional speaker now, and she just developed a class for speaking about sex with your children. Oh. Because she said, and she's very conservative, by the way. She's super Mormon.
Yeah.
She said, as uncomfortable as it is, she said, to talk to our kids about it because we think we're putting the idea in their head.
Right.
And that we don't want to give it to them too soon because there's time for that. Yeah. But she's like, it's more important for me to teach my children about consent, sexual consent. Hell yeah. Both my sons and my daughters, because she has both.
Very important.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, than it is to let them learn on their own and wonder what they've been taught.
Especially considering now that the majority of children after the age of 11 have access to online porn.
Agreed.
So many kids.
I hope my son's not looking at that.
Well, probably not. But so many kids get their idea of, this is what sex is like. And then suddenly they think women are just receptacles.
Correct.
They don't understand consent. They don't understand that it's supposed to be mutual.
Yeah.
And that women actually don't really like it like that, and men generally don't like it like that.
No, but it's something that's not real. It's the way that we're taught, or it's generational.
But if nobody talks to them about it, then they'll think, this is porn. This is sex.
This is the way it is. Well, and I mean, she even goes as far to say, in her opinion, married couples, when the wife is like, I'm tired, I have a headache, I don't feel like it, but he's like, come on, and you do it, but even though you really don't want to. Yeah. She's like, even that is a form of non-consent. She's like, you consent.
You're relenting.
But you're relenting. Yeah. And it shouldn't be that way. Well, that's not the healthiest way.
Think about women who have been on dates where they relent after constant begging or badgering, and they feel bad about it.
Me. Yeah. I've done it.
We've all done it.
Yeah.
For sure. And it's like, that is
I wouldn't do it now in my life, but
no.
yes, I did it as a young woman.
It's one of those cool societal things that I love seeing progress, because it's like women are actually going, yo, just because I'm readily available to you sexually does not mean I'm always available to you sexually.
Thank you.
And if I say, I don't think so, that is a no.
That's enough.
And for men,
and don't keep asking me.
And men have to register and go, okay.
She said no.
It's done.
Done.
I'm going to masturbate.
Whatever. Yeah. Or whatever. So
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. So last thing about the sex ed with my kid. Yes. So I said, what did you learn today? This was the first day. And he's like, the teacher said bad words, but I can't say them in front of you. And I'm like, what?
Vagina?
I go, what? And he goes, well, I go, can you at least tell me what letter they started with? He goes, well, the first one started with a P. I go, is it? And I was genuinely surprised.
Like, is it pussy?
No. I was like, what the hell? I'm like, there's no way they would curse. And I go, was it? But then I put myself in the mind of my 11-year-old. Yes. And I go, was it penis? And he goes, yes. And he looked at me like, Mom, you said it. And I was like, honey, that's not a bad word. I go, that's the anatomically correct
That's the word term. You use.
I said, that's what the doctor will use when you get older.
Stephanie, do you call it noodle or something?
No, I mean,
what are we doing?
PP or, he's been a baby up in my mind. Not a baby, but I mean,
I understand.
Just the little terms you use,
when you're teaching about
does your PP hurt? Is it itchy? Whatever. You know what I mean? I'm not like, is your penis enlarged some?
Also, all you have to say is like, we call it PP. It's a slang term for penis.
I did explain that to him. And I said, did you learn any other words? He goes, vagina? Is that what you're asking? So he's pronouncing these words so loudly. With conviction,
Okay, Jerry. God. Just like your father.
And he's got a smirk on his face the whole time. Yeah, Mom, I learned what a vagina was. I go, did you know what a vagina was before? He goes, well, yeah. I go, okay.
Well, that's nice.
I go, well, that is the proper term.
And let's just keep it at that, shall we?
And I would rather you call it that than any of these other dirty words.
Oh, you could call it peaches, I suppose.
That's fine, but
let's not.
Nobody calls it that.
Can you imagine the first time, he's a young adult and he's just like, I love your peaches, and she's like, what? What?
Or when first time he sees one, he's like, now I know why she calls it peaches.
He's like, well, my penis would love, my PP would love to see your peaches. It's like, okay.
That's not cute.
I need to speak with your mother immediately.
Right.
She has kept you in a bubble for far too long.
So it's an interesting phase we're going through.
I'm excited. Oh my goodness. I know you hate it. I know.
No, I don't hate it. It's not because it's uncomfortable.
No, it's because they're growing up.
Yes.
It's growing up. It's
I don't want to lose my lovely little son who I just adore.
Because they turn into gremlins. And it's awful.
That's inevitable.
I know, and you hate it. But you know what? There's something. Tyler turned into a gremlin as well. He had mental health issues on top of it. Yeah. But you always see that lovely little baby, that boy, your son or child in their eyes.
Right. Even when I see my 30-year-old daughter now, it's like that.
You see the twinkle in their eye where they're still your child.
Yeah.
That you made them, and that little love bond is always there, even when they're being awful. You're like, okay, I see it. You're just being terrible right now.
Yeah.
And that's where the term, I believe, I always will love you, but I really hate what you're doing right now.
Right.
That's where that comes
I don't
from.
like you right this minute.
I really don't like you very much right now, but I will always love you.
Correct. Yes.
I've said that.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, okay, so Gwyneth Paltrow is having a moment.
Oh, God, I can't with her. I struggle with her anyway.
Okay, well, I think we all do.
Which is weird because I love Blythe Danner. Her mother. Blythe Danner. Yeah, well, and maybe I don't love her. Maybe she's just better because she's older at hiding her assholishness.
Well, here's the thing with Gwyneth. She's kind of a conundrum for me. I don't actively dislike her.
I do.
Okay, I know you do, and it's fine. Most people do. Here's what I appreciate about her. I do think she has a wicked sense of humor in that she knows what she looks like. She knows how people think of her.
Okay.
And I think Goop is her leaning into it.
Well,
I think
that's a good way of looking at it.
I think there's a part of it where she knows, first of all.
And by the way, she's cleaning up with Goop.
Oh yeah.
So I have respect for that.
Yeah.
I do too. If it was this, if it was in vain effort and like she was hanging on by a thread trying to force people to but people love it.
Well, because
I don't know who's buying it. I don't know who buys her products, but someone does.
I don't think too many people are actually buying a lot of the expensive stuff.
Well, then what?
I think those are all sponsored, more like the brand goes, hey, can we sell our sweaters for $400 in Goop? YouTube.
Okay.
And she'll be like, fuck yeah, let's do it. But you're paying me for me to sell this for you. Right. I think that's the kind of thing. It's kind of like a rich Amazon, in my opinion. That's my opinion.
I've never even looked at the website.
I don't know if that's true. Oh, I have.
I haven't, because I feel like I don't know. That's so stupid. For example, isn't it? I'm not going to look at it because then I'm buying into the garb. For example,
to me, it's all like when she said this is when I started, my take on Gwyneth changed. The vagina candle. Right. This smells like my vagina.
Everybody.
Okay. For $75, you can get a candle that quote unquote smells like Gwyneth's vagina. But here's the thing.
Or vagina, or is it her?
No, it was hers. Ew. But here's the deal.
So who sniffed it to find out how to clone the smell?
Nothing.
Disgusting.
It was a floral scented candle.
Oh, okay.
But it was a joke. They were having some kind of marketing meeting. And she goes, I'll have it. We'll just say it smells like my vagina.
And no one will buy it. And then everyone bought it.
But the thing is the rumor is they really didn't produce a bunch. They they made like some samples and they put it on their website as a joke. Some people did buy it, but then there was like a gajillion knockoffs on Etsy.
Right.
Where real sex workers were putting pussy juice in candles and selling it for $75. Disgusting. And it was like ridiculous, but it became a trend. But she's like, I know what I look like. I know. And it's all kind of a joke. In some of it.
What does it mean? What does she mean? She knows what she looks like. She's an attractive woman.
I don't mean physically. I mean, she appears to be this waspy, white, wealthy, completely out of touch person who names children Apple. And she knows what her appearance looks like.
Gotcha.
I think that that is very part of her. But I also think she's also really hilarious about her what she's coming off as looking like. Okay. In my opinion.
You could be right.
But I also think she's very elitist and you know, she
can't even help it.
She leans into it as well.
Right.
So she was on she did a podcast with her doctor a couple weeks ago and she looked like hell.
Because she lives on bone broth.
She had an water IV and her doctor's like, so tell me about your diet. Her quote unquote doctor. Ugh. Tell me about your diet. And she's like, well, you know, I fast and then currently I have an IV for vitamins and, you know, I really enjoy bone broth for lunch and then I'll have vegetables.
So she literally
for
starves.
Dinner. So she's essentially starving herself.
She doesn't eat.
She intermittent fasting, blah, blah, blah.
Intermittent fasting is equivalent. I don't eat.
I intermittent fast. But
I mean, she said she fasts for 12 hours.
Well,
every day?
Yes, but most of it's when you're sleeping. It's not during the day, which I think it's beyond. She's doing beyond.
Unhealthy,
I don't break my fast with bone broth. Okay.
Right.
I have protein. I eat healthy foods, but that's because I'm older and women need protein.
She's older.
Yeah, she's my age.
Yeah.
So anyway.
She's our age.
So she did this podcast and I said, okay, and I just watched all these people just going off on her about how she's got an eating disorder, blah, blah, blah. I don't think she has an eating disorder. I think she's in Hollywood. She's a celebrity and she's trying to maintain the body she's always had. And she's in menopause. Right. And she's struggling just like we all do with weight gain. It's a very common thing.
Like 100 pounds.
But she doesn't want to be 110 pounds.
Right. But I mean,
I can tell you this.
She's not struggling with weight is my point.
No, she's not. But that's because she's literally starving herself.
She doesn't eat. Yeah.
So she looked like, I said that she looked like a piece of hay on an IV. I go, that's why she looks like a piece of hay.
Yeah.
Because she looks like shit in this video. She had no makeup on. She was leaning forward, hunchy, taut, whatever. So then 3 days later, she's in Utah because she's being sued. Yes. By a man who 7 years ago, she ran down on a beginner slope.
Yep.
He suffered
and took off.
She suffered a back injury he suffered a back injury apparently. And it was really bad, blah, blah, blah. He's not disabled. It's nothing like that.
I think it's the audacity part for him because she left.
Yeah, she did.
She left her assistant. And I think he was like, how dare you?
No, ski instructor.
Oh, ski instructor. I'm sorry. Yes.
She said that he was going to deal with the situation.
Yes.
And then she took off.
Correct. Which if you're injured and just because someone's a celebrity and they're like, I'm not staying, I'm going to let him deal with this. Yes. That would piss me off too.
Well, was there
Is it illegal? I don't know, but it would piss me off.
So apparently this isn't, if I'm not mistaken, this isn't the first time he's tried to sue her for this. And he got laughed out of court the first time.
Oh.
So the general premise is, you're only doing this because it's Gwyneth Paltrow.
And she has money.
If it was anybody else, you would have let this go a million years ago. And why didn't he sue the ski resort?
I don't know.
Is my opinion. Because if she was having a ski lesson And she did something, and she violently collided with this guy on a beginner slope, and the ski instructor was there. Why are you suing her?
Right.
Because she took off. I'm not saying it's okay to take off. I would have been devastated. I would have been like, oh my God.
I mean, whether it was my fault, whether he was embellishing, whatever, I would have stayed and figured it out.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know that would have stopped him from suing her. He probably would have done it anyway.
It's hard to tell.
But it just didn't look good as far as unfortunately for her, she's in the public eye.
Because she's a celebrity. So she shows up 3 days later looking like a woman who's being on trial for trying to hire someone to kill her husband from the 70s.
But smirking the entire time.
She has these huge glasses. Her hair, I mean, she does not look like a piece of hay.
She wearing cream.
Nourished. She's wearing what all blonde women wearing cream colors, very white, very whatever. This is one of the most unbelievable court trials I've ever seen in my life.
Johnny Depp and Amber Heard was pretty good. I watched it.
That was good, but this is equally as hilarious.
Yeah.
First of all, I think this is a frivolous lawsuit.
I do too. Yeah.
They could have settled this.
I guess this is the new thing now, like celebrities who are getting sued having that be televised because it's like a thing we all love.
So apparently at one point I saw a clip that she had her head down. She refused to look up. And her attorney stands up and he goes, Your Honor, there's a camera that's facing, it's on my client and it does not move. It's fixed. It's making us uncomfortable. And this is ridiculous. It's only because it's Gwyneth Paltrow that there is a thing here and we want it removed. Now, I don't know if it was removed or not. I have no idea.
I don't think so.
So there's that. She has a lot of facial expressions.
Right.
And then she was put on the stand yesterday.
Yeah, I've seen it.
And her attorney, who she's like, so this really interrupted your very expensive ski trip. And she's like, well, I lost a half day of skiing. So, and I'm like, what are we doing?
Well, the other attorney, the defense attorney or the prosecuting, he's not prosecuting because it's not criminal, but the
party.
Yeah. Is just hammering her.
I know.
I mean, she's like, and with the exact opposite, like making it so obvious that she's, elitist and entitled and, So.
And then I believe the guy that's suing her.
And she's smiling. I'm like, stop smiling. Even if it's funny to you, don't do it.
I would just be like, I mean,
I'd have to bite my cheeks.
But you would have to, but I'd be like.
I would have to bite my cheeks.
You know what I would? I would wear a mask.
Something.
I would wear a mask.
Because if she can't hide her face and it's just impossible for her.
The judge is going to award him money at this point.
And we're coming down on her like Hailey Bieber. And thank God Selena saved fucking Hailey Bieber's ass yesterday with her statement.
But Hailey's still like, fuck you, Selena.
Whatever.
She's so goddamn mental.
Hailey's PR team has been hard at work the last week or two.
It's not working.
Oh God, no, it's not working. In fact,
by the way, where's Justin? He's letting her hang to dry.
For sure.
He's like, Hailey, who? Oh no, I'm not married anymore. What?
How long is it going to be before we hear that announcement?
Oh, I think it's going to be the summer.
He can't do it right now because it would be too obvious.
No, I think it's going to be the summer.
Yeah.
Something will die down.
I imagine when two celebrities get married, part of their prenup is not just the money separation and property.
It's everything.
It's got to be PR. Like, absolutely. Okay, you're not going to trash me. I'm not going to trash you. This is what you can say and when. This is how long you have to wait.
I will say this.
All of that.
It certainly is shocking to me how many celebrities don't have a good PR team.
Reese Witherspoon's getting divorced. Did you see that?
I saw that. We are lovingly and
uncoupling.
We're
speaking of Gwyneth.
After deep consideration, we are lovingly exiting our marriage. And I'm like, you know what? If it was this calm and cool, you guys wouldn't be getting divorced.
They're such liars.
First of all, I think she's a bitch.
Really?
Oh. I mean, first of all, I love Reese.
Well, I don't know anything about her husband.
I love her, but I don't think that after her first marriage that she married for love.
Yeah.
I'm sure she loves this guy. 11 years is not
That's
anything
a long
to scoff
time.
at. And they have an 11-year-old son, though.
Right.
So did they get married because she was pregnant?
Maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's
but it's still a long time to stay married for somebody if you only got married because you had a baby. 11 years is a long time.
That is, it's a long, that's a solid marriage.
It's a solid, chunk of your life.
Especially a celebrity.
Yeah.
Especially how much
I think
success.
He's not a celebrity. What is he?
I don't know what he is, but
his last name's Toth or Toth or something.
But she has had an extraordinary amount of success in the last decade. I mean, she's a power player.
She has. I
love her. I love
she
that
produces,
for her.
she directs, she also acts.
But my point in calling her a bitch, and I guess I don't use the term bitches in a bad way personally.
Yeah.
Is that I think she's like, I'm not putting up with this shit no more, man.
Maybe. Yeah.
And she's like, I'm done with you.
Yeah.
And I will make it nice for you by my PR team saying.
Releasing a statement that's saying we're lovingly
considering our son. And although he's probably like, thank God they fight all the time.
You never know.
You just never know.
Yeah.
But because of that, she's got an extremely efficient PR team.
Yeah.
So does J-Lo. So does Taylor Swift.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly Selena Gomez.
Selena Gomez does.
She's got an exceptional PR team.
Selena Gomez also is a genuine person, and that helps.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying she's exactly what we see in the media.
I don't know.
They never are, but
I don't know. I think she's pretty damn close.
But I think she's been humbled with her health issues.
Oh my God, she's got lupus.
She's had a kidney transplant. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she has been humbled in life as far as like I may not be here someday, and I am going to take full advantage of living my life.
I think she's pretty authentic.
I do too.
Yeah, I do.
And, you know, her ethnicity background is different. Mm-hmm. Haley's white and came from, you know what I mean?
Honestly, I think,
know that's a shitty thing to say to some people, but it's just the fucking truth.
I think Hailey Bieber's authentic too.
I think she's authentically an elitist little snotty brat.
I think Hailey Bieber is exactly who
like Kendall Jenner. No wonder they're fucking best friends.
I know.
Look at them.
You know what? What's so funny is that all these people, they're like, you guys can't be friends right now. Okay, please. Can we just not?
You know they're trying. Well, now Kendall Jenner's dating Bad Bunny. I have no idea who that is.
Oh, he is like the number one.
Is he the schnizzle right now?
He is the number one top selling artist on Spotify, I believe, like on everything. Like,
okay.
He had a ton of nominations.
This is an upgrade from Devin Booker.
Oh, yeah. But see, that's the thing is like, I didn't realize how popular Shakira was until I started reading how she's internationally huge.
Yeah.
It's kind of, so Bad Bunny is international.
Okay, gotcha.
He's next level.
He's like...
In fact, Taylor Swift was seen hanging out with him. They're like, holy shit, if we get a collab, that will literally blow up the earth.
She definitely could pull it off. God, there's nobody Taylor Swift can't collab with that we won't love.
Can I tell you that I watched on TikTok for 3.5 hours her opening first night concert.
Same.
I did not move. I was riveted.
I loved it.
I loved every minute of it.
Lighted up bracelets.
Everything. Stephanie.
I love that.
I was obsessed.
Her Louis Vuittons.
All of it.
Yeah, her Dolce & Gabbana.
Everything custom.
Sparkly outfits.
But the show was so
amazing.
Unbelievable. The costume changes.
Yeah.
The songs that 44 songs.
Everybody was like, we were exhausted like halfway through the concert, and she was just singing. And we're like, how is she still going? We are so tired, and we're in the audience.
Ended it with Karma, which, by the way, do you like that album?
I do. There's nothing that she's done that I dislike.
My girls.
I have favorites, but
my girls schooled me, and they're like, I was listening to, because we listen to Taylor Swift all the time, and Malia goes, Mom, this is not Taylor's version. And I said, it's not? She goes, no. And she's like, you can't listen to this. And I'm like, oh my God. Because Scooter Braun, which was her old manager,
she re-recorded everything.
Bought her masters. And so to make his masters useless, she re-record. She's not done either, by the way.
Yeah, no shit.
She's still doing more. And so I had to delete and re-add on my playlist the Taylor version to appease the Swifties.
And rightfully so.
Absolutely. Oh my God.
I hate Scooter Braun. Fuck him.
Yeah, Ariana Grande is still represented by him. I'm like, please, girl, can we not?
Well, I don't know.
A lot of people are.
No,
still.
I agree.
Yeah,
he didn't get to where he is being.
He's very. But Taylor was just like, that's fine. I'm just going to re-record, and then you can have my masters.
And most people don't have the tenacity to do so. But she's fucking young. She's like 30. She's not 30. Even that.
No, she's 30.
Is she 30? Yeah. Okay, she's young. She has plenty of time.
So, and you know what? I just love that I am on this earth when Taylor Swift is on this earth, that I get to enjoy her art.
I really want to go to a show, and I think it'd be a perfect show for you and I to go to together.
Well,
or even your kids too.
I will say this. After I streamed the entire 3.5 hours, Natalie did get to go to night 2. Her mom found tickets at face value. They were up in the heavens, but she was in the building and they went. So
70,000 people at that first show.
More than the Super Bowl.
Yeah. It's amazing.
So we, immediately after I saw the show that evening, I went online to StubHub and I'm like, okay, I need to get tickets to the show.
Is she coming to our town?
The closest she's getting is Santa Clara.
Oh, that's fine.
And so the highest price tickets in the country.
Oh, for real?
So
Silicon Valley.
The tickets now, because the first night was, first of all, streamed live everywhere. Everybody got to see it if they wanted to see it. They could see, Natalie said it best. She goes, every song was the finale song. Every single song for 3.5 hours could have been the final song of a concert.
Oh my God.
It was so good. I watched it and I completely agreed.
Yeah.
Everything was great. And so we are looking west of the Mississippi.
Wow.
Seattle, she's in Vegas this weekend. LA, she's doing her finales in LA. There's like 5 shows in LA. And so we're looking at all the tickets. Everything is at least $1,200 a seat.
God, I didn't freaking take out a loan.
So this morning I told Daryl, because somebody live streamed Vegas last night.
I'm like, doesn't your husband know people at this point? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, he's like, I can make a call, but I don't
He is producer dub of The Ugly Truth.
I know.
People, do you not know who we are?
Seriously.
Like, seriously.
He's like, well, I mean, I can make a
call.
call.
We'll talk about the show if you give us tickets.
Here's the thing with Daryl. This is why... I don't know why he does this, why he thinks I deserve to be spoiled.
Because you do.
But he goes, I told him this morning, he said, honey, I cannot in good faith allow you to buy thousands of dollars of tickets to go to this show.
Even though I would love it so bad.
Even though it'd be amazing. I can't allow it because I could get a new car. We could go to Hawaii.
No doubt, right?
We could go do things for like a long week. I'm like, I can't to see this girl sing.
We could remodel our bathroom.
Seriously. And I'm like, I go, it's immoral at this point.
Right. It is a crime.
And I'm like, and if it was face value, it would be one thing.
Right.
But
you can't get them because the scalpers have taken them all.
Well, and not only that, but now people will pay. Because they know the show is like
unbelievable.
It's a historical event.
She's just a brilliant businesswoman for her age. I swear to God.
She's a brilliant artist.
She's a brilliant artist, but she has sold her brand and her so incredibly well.
She's leaned into her fandom, and I am living for it.
I am too. I wasn't even a Swiftie until like a year ago.
Oh no, when she first came out.
I know you guys have been forever.
I'm like, this girl's going to be popular.
I know, right?
That was like 100 years ago.
It was.
Anyway, yes, I wish that I could. I told her, I said, I just wish we were a little bit rich so that we could just be like, yeah, let's just drop it and let's go. We'll make it a weekend.
Daryl can cut this if he wants, but I mean, I'm saying like the man is in radio and communications.
He said today, he goes, I could make a call and see if anybody has any, inside tracks. I'm like, well, I'm not going to stop you.
Yeah. And I know that that's cringy to say it, but
not.
Honestly,
how do you think half those people get those tickets?
I'm telling you. Yeah. And I'm like, and Daryl he's not, in all of the years that he's been in his line of work, I have rarely seen him take advantage.
He hardly ever.
I mean, a handful of times in 20 years.
Because we just don't.
Yeah, he just doesn't. I mean, he doesn't take advantage of it. But I mean, so, every once in a while, is it okay to tap a source?
That's what I'm saying. Tap, tap, tap.
Right?
Lindsay Lohan is pregnant.
I saw.
I have to say that I'm kind of happy for her.
I am too. I think she's gotten a bad rap. I
agree.
If Robert Downey Jr. can come out with a clean slate, then why can't she?
Because she's a woman.
Exactly.
Yeah. Same. Yeah. Anyway, with that being said, congratulations to Lindsay and her husband. I mean, I will say this. I'm really glad that they
moved out of the United States. They don't even live here anymore.
Well, he's Middle Eastern, yes?
I don't know.
I think he's Muslim.
But she moved out of the United States some time ago because the PR was so bad for her.
I will say this, though. I'm really glad that she abandoned the accent that she had developed. She had developed she did the Madonna thing.
I know, right?
Where she had a weird accent for a minute.
God, it's
and I'm like, what are you doing, Lindsay?
I know.
You're from Jersey.
I know.
Like, stop it.
I know. It's so true. Like Dorit Kemsley from... Real Housewives, she has it's a weird accent. She's from Connecticut. Everybody's like, she's like, well, I lived in London and my husband's British. We're like, you're from Connecticut, all right? Stop it. She's like, she just has this weird accent. Oh, wait, it's strange.
You mean like Hilaria Baldwin, who suddenly becomes unable to speak a lick of English?
Yes.
She's like, please, what is the word? Macaroni? Like, shut up.
Such an idiot.
Who are you? Oh my God. This whole new realm of thinking you can alter reality like no one has eyes.
Well, I identify as an English person, so
I identify as a Londoner.
How lucky is she that goes from marrying a Hollywood A-lister, an icon in Hollywood,
truly,
and now he's under indictment for homicide. She's like, what is happening here?
You know what?
I thought it was set for life.
She is set for life. Alec Baldwin's going to get out of this.
He's going to get out of this, but he's never going to be the same.
He's never going to produce another goddamn thing.
And I don't think he's ever going to act in anything, to be honest with you.
I think he will. You know what? You know how? Let me me tell you this. You know why? You know how I know? First of all, fucking Mel Gibson still works.
When was the last? Oh yeah, that's true.
He's on something now.
Doesn't he do Yellowstone? Or is that Kevin Costner?
That was Kevin Costner.
Who's also a wife beater.
I know. And everybody's like, oh, Kevin Costner. I'm like, he's an asshole.
Whatever. He is an asshole.
But no, Mel Gibson, there's a brand new movie out on Netflix that just came out, and they're trying to make him a fetch. And I'm like, he's a fucking anti-Semite.
Yeah, he is.
And they still embrace that motherfucker.
I know, huh?
Kevin Spacey.
How quickly we forget. He's not in shit. I haven't seen him in anything.
He's working in Europe actively, always.
I did not know that.
They have a different...
I guess they're fine with pedophiles.
They have a different take on...
sexuality.
Gay men and young gay men. So I think that's why.
That's true. He never actually, you're right.
And he's never been convicted of anything.
He's never been convicted, and the accusations were always with they were young men, they weren't children.
The only one that, no, he's not considered a pedophile.
He's not a pedophile.
But he is considered someone who's predatory.
I agree.
And then, so, I mean, if those two can still make a living, Alec Baldwin will absolutely get his comeback. There's no doubt in my mind.
Well, we'll see. Let's see how long it takes him.
I think that he will have to
look at Chris Noth. He's not survived what he went through, and he didn't even do anything recently.
I know.
He got outed for something he did 30 years ago. Granted, it was awful and horrible.
I wonder if there must be more tea that we don't know about, because he's literally non-existent. Although I did read a little blurb on him about something. I can't remember what it was.
I'm sure his PR team was like, look, you're going to have to lay low for a good 5 years.
You're going to have to go to Mexico, dude.
Something. And we will slowly revive you, but it's going to take a minute.
Yes. And lucky for him, he's attractive.
And he is attractive. And honestly, if they didn't keep reviving
Sex in the City.
Correct. He probably could come back a little quicker, but they just got a new season and there's no way he can come out of the woodwork now.
No, because it'll just be a reminder over and over again. Anyway, all right. Do you I have an ugly and awkward moment of the week. Do you?
God, I'm so... People are like, do you ever have one, Stephanie?
You do.
I probably do.
You just don't log them.
I'm just so unprepared for the show. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. One may come to you. And you know what?
That does happen.
They don't, when they come, they're epic, or there's just isn't one.
Well, I'm always awkward.
This
people.
one,
believe you me.
This one's pretty epic. So it's St. Patrick's Day. And Daryl looks forward to me making him a St. Patrick's Day meal every year. So I make it. So every year I try to do it a little bit different. I love corned beef and cabbage and carrots and potatoes and all that stuff.
He hates the smell. He hates that he won't eat it. So I can't even make it. I hate it.
Oh, does he like corned beef?
No.
Oh, interesting.
His mother made it.
Oh, it's a trigger.
No, I don't know if it's a trigger, but just, he eats like a 5-year-old.
That's true. Except he likes oysters.
But it takes weird. It just takes the joy out of it for me, because I make it and I'm like, I can't eat a 5-pound roast to myself.
No. So Daryl went to a butcher and got a premium cut of corned beef, a local butcher from local cows, the whole thing.
Yum. Organic, grass-fed, everything. The whole bit.
Yes.
Yummy.
And so now I said I was sick.
Right.
I mean, you can still kind of hear it, but Wednesday was, and I was pretty sick, but I'm like, no, you know what? I'm going to do it, because then he'll have leftovers and I don't have to deal with him wanting food.
And they're delish.
So
that's one of those leftover foods that stay good for a long time.
And you can put it in the oven and it takes like 3 hours.
So good.
So it takes nothing. So I did what I was going to, and I was extra careful with this meat because I wanted it to be delicious. And I was like, you know what? I fucking hate boiled cabbage and potato. I don't like it, but I'm going to roast the veggies. So I roasted everything. And it was amazing.
God, it has the best flavor that.
And roasted cabbage, actually, shockingly delicious.
I love anything roasted.
I had no idea.
I've yet to have a vegetable that I've roasted that was bad.
Agreed. So I don't like roasted broccoli.
True.
It gets bitter.
It gets bitter and it gets too, brown. It sounds burned.
Yes.
Tastes burned.
So anyway, I get it all, and he's like, this is the best meal of my life. And he makes himself sick because he eats too much, all the things. But anyway, so I put it in the oven and I go sit on the couch, and I kind of fell asleep because I didn't feel well. And I heard the timer go up. I'm like, oh, cool. Daryl's working. So I come out and I go into the kitchen. I was like, oh, no.
What?
He goes, what? I go, I didn't turn on the oven.
How long was it?
3.5 hours. So I was like, shit. I go, so there's been raw meat in the oven for 4 hours.
I feel like it's protected from the elements.
It was fine.
Besides, you big, large chunks of meat, you're supposed to bring them to room temperature, right?
It was room temp for sure. But not only that, but it's brine, so it's not going to go bad immediately.
Right. No. If anybody's like, ew, you can't eat it, you have to throw it out. No.
If it was chicken, I would have thrown it away.
Yeah, I would have
actually. Too. But anyway,
But chicken's also like $1.99 a pound.
I was all beep, beep, beep. And I'm like, you'll be eating at 8. So sorry.
Well, thank God you started it early, because if you had to do it twice and it was,
well,
what if it was already 8?
I started it early because I didn't feel good, you know? And of course, Daryl's like, he's always like,
it takes 3 hours. So
if you want it to fall apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then he ate it. He's like, it's so really good. And I'm like,
God,
oh, I'm so happy for you.
Funny. Nobody, it never occurred to anybody that there was no
embarrassing.
smells coming throughout the house. Like,
He even said that. He goes, it was weird that I didn't smell anything. I'm like, well, I couldn't smell anything anyway.
Right.
So I didn't think anything of it.
Right.
But the house wasn't warmer. Nothing.
just, yeah.
No one paid attention. I definitely didn't.
You definitely didn't pay attention.
So
I mean, because
funny.
3 hours is a long time to completely neglect something.
Completely neglected.
Like, had that been Thanksgiving, you would have at least poked your eye in
Honestly,
there and looked.
I was almost like, I'm not making this. I'm tired. I don't feel good.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
I'm not going to even like eating it because I don't feel good.
And I didn't. I had like 2 bites.
But you're like, Daryl wants it so bad.
And it's there, and it's so easy to just throw that shit in the oven.
It is, because once you get it in the oven, you don't have to think about it.
It's done with it. And
You just have to
he
turn
dealt
the
with it
oven on.
afterwards. Like, I didn't have to do anything. I just threw it in the oven. But anyway, yes.
That is hilarious.
Okay, so we only have a few. Do you find?
Oh, no. I was so busy thinking about yours because
fine.
that was funny.
Really quick,
That was
this
very
was
funny.
the most hilarious discussion we had, because every once in a while I still know my brain does not work like a normal person's.
Right.
And so the other day we were talking about putting in, because we really want to try to do some voiceover work. We think it'd be great to have this second opportunity to do voice, which is like commercials or whatever. So, but we need some kind of soundproofing.
Yeah.
Because this room is very echoey still.
Is it? Okay.
And so, well, there's nothing.
Yeah. Well, it's
Right.
bare floor. Right.
Anyway, so we were talking about, he's like, we could get
in squalor.
He's like, we could get a curtain, one of those curved curtain rods, and we could buy soundproofing blankets.
Oh, yeah.
And just create a corner, and it could be whatever.
Be cute, yeah.
And that way we can take it down and, whatever.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, the curved, he goes, the ones in the hotels.
Like the hotels.
And I said, yeah, for fat people.
Is that what they are?
And he goes, what? And I go, yeah, that's why they have curved curtain rods in hotels now, because
if you're large,
because people are so large now that, especially in the United States, that they have room and they don't get stuck on the curtain or whatever, and they have more room. And he goes, what are you talking about?
I go confused as well. Like, I didn't know.
He goes, I go, isn't that why we have curved curtain? Because America's so fat? And he's like, no. And I said, well, why do we have them? And he's like, so that the curtain doesn't touch people when they're showering.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm like, because we're bigger. And he's like, no. And I'm like, wait a minute. I go, you mean to tell me
it's just a luxury, actually?
He goes, I go, you mean to tell me that curved curtain rods aren't because we're fatter as a country? He goes, no. And I'm like, well, okay. So I Googled it.
And they're no longer vinyl either, by the way.
No, they're material.
They're like,
they're soft material.
Yeah, so they flow.
They don't stick on your wet body.
Cling to you.
They don't stick on your wet body.
Right.
And so
it's not like a pool floaty.
No, not anymore. And so I Googled it, and it's certainly so that your skin doesn't touch the curtain anymore. It has nothing to do with weight.
Where the hell did you get that?
I don't know.
Thought it, and you're like, it must be true.
Because the first time I went to a hotel that I had normally frequented, and they had the new curved rod, I went, oh, this is for fat people. Is that the dumbest brain ever?
No, I mean, it's not when you said it, I thought you were going to tell me like, yeah, that's really the reason. And I'm like, all this time I didn't know.
And I
kind of makes sense.
Well, what's funny is I create this huge backstory. I'm like, oh, this is because as a country, we're much larger than others. Because they don't have this in Europe.
They don't.
It's only in the United States I've ever seen a curved curtain rod. Okay. And so I'm like, oh yeah, this is just because.
And you would know, I hear the hotel rooms in Europe are smaller.
Tiny.
Kind of like when you go to Manhattan or San Francisco.
When we went to London, we got an upgraded room. It's so long and narrow, and I'm like, this is an like,
can you imagine what we would have had?
They're shoe boxes. They're little. Although the bathrooms are quite luxurious, actually, what's interesting.
Yeah, they always do that. I'm like, why do they make the bathroom bigger than the bedroom?
And the bedrooms are like just a chair, just a table, just a bed, and that's it.
Yeah, I told you, I don't know if we said it on the show, but we're going to the city for, we have reservations for the House of Prime Rib, which, speaking of Anthony Bourdain, that's what triggered me wanting to go there.
Oh, because he
did an episode of No Reservations where he was in San Francisco, and that was one of the places he went. And I was like, why have we never been here? So once I went to go make a reservation, I was like, oh, it's fucking booked out 3 months. Fantastic.
Thanks, Anthony.
Yeah, well, this restaurant's 60 years old.
No, it's
been here
iconic.
forever. Yeah, it's been there since the 40s. But the room, I was like, so I'm hunting for rooms. I'm not frugal. I'm definitely not frugal, but I do try to find the best deal for a suite. Like, I'm not just going to go out and book the first room they have at the
retail.
Ritz. No, right? So I will hunt and hunt and hunt. And I know the hotels that we're willing to stay at. Mm-hmm. And I also know the hotels that we've gotten decent deals at before. Well, this happens to be a holiday weekend where we got and I didn't know. I didn't put two and two together when I was.
What is the holiday?
It's Juneteenth, which is a new holiday.
But there's days off though.
But we as the county are now off. This is our first year observing it. Okay. The state observes it. So it's not a federal holiday.
So people are going away for the weekend.
But yes, yeah. And so it's in June. So school has just gotten out.
So summer break.
Families are starting to go on vacation. Yes, but the city is usually not one of the first places that people think of when they want to go on vacation.
Not necessarily.
No, they're usually going to one of our beach towns. Or
but there might be baseball games or something.
That's true. Mm-hmm. So the hotel that I favor, I love, is uber expensive, but depending on what time of year or what day you go,
get a deal
on Sunday and stuff, like you can sometimes get a good deal. It's still expensive, but it's way less than it would be if you went during the week or on like a Friday or Saturday night. But they had the suite that I've only been able to book twice in my lifetime, and I'm like, oh God, it's available. It's almost $700 a night, and I'm like, I'll just book it. Because it doesn't cost you any money to book it. And then I'll keep checking prices to see if they go down. Well, they're going up. They're not going down.
Oh, no.
But I finally had to tell Jerry, and I was like, well, here's the deal. We're going to need about $2,500 to go to this restaurant that week. And he's like, what? What the fuck? I mean, he was like, what the actual fuck, you know? Like, I was like, well, let me explain. So then when I told him and everything, I remember that room we had that time, and it's like so amazing. And it's just gorgeous suite. And he's like, yeah, that was really amazing. I'm like, and we paid $400 a night for it at that time.
Wow.
Which was unbelievable.
That's unbelievable.
So cheap. Yeah.
Yes.
And so this time,
oh no.
So he's like, leave it. Just leave it. And he's like, we know what we're facing.
You know what? I love it when they get on board.
It took him a day.
It's fine.
But then as he was thinking about it, because I was like, well, otherwise we can stay at blah, blah, blah. I remember we had that room. It was okay. It was the hotel's beautiful. And he's like, yeah, but that room was so amazing.
Stephanie, I'd be like, welcome aboard.
So
here we go.
Yeah. So we've come to peace with it.
Good. So now we just work real hard and we save our money.
Doing. That's literally what we're doing. I'm like, that one credit card is almost paid off.
Oh, I love it.
I'm like, so we'll use that for the room. I'm like, and everything else is gravy. Oh. I'm like, we'll eat Taco Bell the first day we get there. Yeah. I'm like, we're humble.
We hardly eat when we travel anyway.
We don't either.
So it's fine.
The only thing that we are guilty of is because we have a child and we do have to feed him.
You do have to feed it.
We will order room service for breakfast because I'm just not a morning person.
We always do room service.
Yeah. I literally am not ready to like see the world until like 11.
If you're going to go and do it right.
Yeah.
Just do it right.
I'll let him get the $18 pancakes. Fuck it.
It's one time.
And I won't order like a full breakfast for me and Jerry.
I saw a tweet yesterday. It was because it's Friday and somebody's like, congratulations, or here's to all the dads who are taking their kid out for $11 Kraft macaroni and cheese at Applebee's tonight.
Seriously.
Because wherever you go, that's all they're going to eat. And it's going to be,
$12 chicken fingers and fries.
When you could have gone to the grocery store and bought half a meal for that.
But we want to get out. Yeah. I mean, we're getting back to that too.
Oh, for sure.
We really are. And you and Daryl are definitely embracing it. I love it.
God, we're so close to empty nesting. We'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, we have to.
For sure. Because we're in the throes of it.
There's a half empty room. There is no bed, but there are still clothes everywhere.
I'll tell you this. The girl has stalled.
Oh, really?
I think she's not as excited to be. Well, no, I think she's kind of she's really taking her time. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not mad at it.
That's fine.
It's fine.
Well, it's a lovely place to live. I mean, there's nothing bad she wants for nothing.
No, but she's also hasn't been here for months, off and on, really.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll talk about all this next week.
For sure.
Our April Fool's edition.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So much to talk about. Yeah. I want to talk
spring break's coming up.
I want to talk about all the pranks that you and I used to pull on each other. When we were children.
We have to. Oh my God, there are a lot, and you're so much better at remembering everything.
Oh yeah, so we'll discuss.
And I remember some.
You'll remember when I tell you.
Yeah,
for sure.
Always do.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye. Have a great week.